Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available for today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, starting off on the daily, it's a new week. We've got that first weekend of the month out of the way. What is the daily showing us? Well, clearly last week we had a bullish week, right? Closed out quite bullish on Friday, and we're even starting off today quite bullish actually. So if I zoom in just slightly, we can see we've got our previous weekly and daily high right above price, and we've got our previous daily low, all of which are still intact for buy side and sell side liquidity. Now just having a quick look at our inverse, you can see possibly for nearly 2 weeks now that DXY has been closing out bearish. So we do have bearish momentum and bullish momentum, right, when we're looking at just the daily candles. So if I draw our attention a little bit closer to what I was discussing last week, we're heading up possibly towards this high. We aren't too far from it, and on DXY we are quite far away. So possibly there'll be some divergence if we meet this point. It's looking very likely. We also have this order block above, right, on the daily, which is unmitigated. So I'll just draw that line across there. You can see we still have a gap between there. This could serve as some buy side liquidity inducement just below this order block, right? This is the source of where we initially changed direction, broke this low, created this bearish leg on the daily after taking buy side liquidity up here, right? So we left behind this order block. We initially mitigated some of the imbalance there, or most of it, and continued down. But if we look at this as a complete leg, we're kind of pulling back now to that source of the leg, to the order block left behind. So we'll see how that plays out in the future if we do get there. It was obviously mitigated here on DXY and continued bullish from there. If we have that SMC divergence and a mitigation of this order block, it may still indicate now we're going to continue this bearish leg. This high will hold, and this could be some sort of future week low. So I think that is enough for the daily. Right, we still have our previous daily highs and lows on both for sell side and buy side liquidity to target. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that shows us. So on the 4 hour, we're still continuing this bullish leg. I don't think we've had any reasonable pullback yet to a discount, and we have mitigated within the premium, right? We mitigated this 4 hour POI and imbalance during that NFP announcement. We're still within this 4 hour possible order block here as resistance, right? So price, you could say, is maybe possibly forming a range there, but this is Friday NFP and Monday's just opened, so I don't want to make any assumptions just yet. So we'll see how this goes. Price is possibly heading towards this buy side liquidity up here, but we'll see if this just holds as a knob regardless. We still got our discount 4 hour POI down here and imbalance here as well if price does eventually pull back towards this area. We are within a premium of this bullish leg and this possible order block. So yes, I'm still looking for that bias to possibly play out for shorts after we take enough buy side liquidity, whether that's above these highs here or this high here. I will probably still keep my bias of looking out for some shorting opportunities, right? Just because of where we are in price, I see these as resistance, right? I see these as negatives to trade into, unless something really clear, a nice lower time frame sell side liquidity sweep, right, for a short term long. However, I don't want to get too into that. We're not on a lower time frame. So 4 hour bullish leg, possible resistance. We'll see, look for some buy side liquidity, and we're in a premium. And then on our inverse DXY, we have the bearish leg, we're in a discount, possibly showing some sort of support forming here. Again, we have some possible future divergence with how far away this low is in comparison to DXY, so we'll see what happens there. I don't think there's loads to discuss on the 4 hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour and see what that shows us. Bit more to discuss. There is, of course, this possible range we're forming at the top here, which could be identified as some sort of resistance, right? It could be that we're finding this resistance now and creating some kind of range. Price is obviously stalling to make those higher highs, as we can see here on DXY as well, right? A little bit of a range. but that's maybe the Friday price action. So not too many assumptions. We're going to wait for a liquidity and price structure on a lower time frame to see what price wants to do, as we always should. Price is moving very bullish at the moment. Looks like it's seeking out some sort of buy side liquidity. Right, we gapped, opened, so this morning when we opened up after the weekend, it gapped downwards, and then we've been bullish since closing the gap. So I suppose it's not really a surprise that we are bullish. We've mitigated most of it, but there is still a little bit to go. So we'll see what price does with that. I wouldn't mind if price comes for this previous weekly and previous daily high as well. This 4-hour order block still intact for some more buy side liquidity above here. Now, what I will draw attention to is Friday just before close, we did slightly sweep that NFP candle high. So we have buy side liquidity swept previous day on our side, which may add to our narrative. Some high time frame internal / external high has been swept there. We did open up lower. I won't make any assumptions on that. It's only a slight sweep. I'll be looking for maybe some fresh sort of internal buy side liquidity sweep today. But I think this helps just a bit of the narrative that we last swept some buy side liquidity, and we are in that possible resistance POY. DXY is also holding some sort of support here. Now, DXY didn't sweep that low, so we also had some SMC divergence there, just to draw our attention to that. But again, we'll be waiting for the buy side or sell side liquidity and that lower time frame structure either way. But this fits my narrative and what I would prefer to wait for, because we are in that premium, because we are in that confluence resistance area. So we'll see what happens if we do sweep this range on either side or anything like that, or fill this imbalance fully here. So I like what I see. We'll be patient, of course. I do want that liquidity on side. I do want the lower time frame structure on side. I want to see what this bullish momentum does at the moment. It could play to my bias and take some internal high here or one of these highs, which would be great. Now, on the hourly and the discount, I've left these POIs we marked out last week. We didn't pull back to those. They're still available. They're still in the discount, right? So they're there to be considered, but I won't concentrate on them for now because they are a while away. I'll draw attention to how price moved and created this bullish leg here, because it is very corrective. So all of these lows become sell side liquidity targets to me on the way down to the discount. So we've got low here now, low here, low here, low here, low here. So there's resting sell side liquidity below them. So I hope I'm not repeating myself too much, but I hope you find that helpful. So let's go down to the M15, see what opportunities might be available for today. Right, so zoomed in here on the M15. What could we see today? Asia had a bit of a range here. We can see what happened in Asia, but into Frankfurt, we took those Asia low sell side liquidity. We've been bullish ever since, right? So we've come up to seek some sort of buy side liquidity, possibly the other side of Asia. Now, what I'll draw our attention to here is that we do have an order block, M15 order block with imbalance, which broke structure, of course, right? So we actually did break structure here. It wasn't really a sweep of Asia lows. If we look at the M15, we closed below that considerably, but we had that bullish momentum on the European Open, right, on Frankfurt and then into London Open. We could possibly respect this high here. Don't know if that's going to happen, of course, but we could possibly respect this. This isn't something I'm going to trade, but this could be where order flow continues from. So as a resistance point. Now there is still a slight gap above it, so we may come for that buy side liquidity, but that's why I'll be patient to wait. But the lower time frame does seem like it's possibly switched bearish this morning after, we could call this more of a sweep of the buy side liquidity here into an imbalance here. So mitigated a lower time frame and higher time frame imbalance. Buy side liquidity above here, broke down with a bit of momentum, breaking below this low. Now we have pulled back. We are in a London session and we may come for buy side liquidity above these highs to close this. So I'll be keeping my eye out for that and what structure does around this area. If we look on DXY, yes, we have pulled back. However, we aren't in sync as much. So DXY may pull back further. We'll see. It may come to mitigate this point here. So this is why I wouldn't really be too convinced to trade this just yet. given we may come for the buy side liquidity above here. When we're slightly out of sync, either DXY is going to respect this small order block here, and then we will continue bearish, or we'll sweep on EU and respect on DXY, giving us SMC divergence, right? Giving us strength indication on DXY. Now DXY has also broken structure, as we can see here, and pulled back. So there's a chance of these holding, and we'll see how that goes. But this is that first early indication of what I am looking for to go with my bias to go short. In terms of trading, what would I want to see? I'd want to see us respect this area or sweep this high and then break down, right? I'm going to want to see us make another lower low, right? Break a structure around this area here, and then we could pull back to our lower time frame POI order block with imbalance to continue short, possibly just heading for that previous daily low or any of these lows, right? Because this is that sell side liquidity trend line I was talking about, even if we redo the trend line through here. So you see how that trend line is there, 1, 2, 3, 4 lows to head for, 5 lows here. All right, we've got that in place. However, if we sweep these highs here now, that'll be buy side liquidity sponsorship, internal buy side liquidity sponsorship on side. Then we would have a breakoff structure, possible inducement from a corrective pullback around here, a lower time frame order block with imbalance somewhere around there possibly, and then we could set our order stop loss just above the high, wherever that may be, to trade down towards the lows for whatever the target would be. It would look something like that. That's what I'd be looking for today. Now this is on the M15, so this is the M15 structural low here. Maybe we create some structure at the top here, so maybe on the M5, right, we break structure a bit earlier. We may sweep this, have some sort of structure, I don't know, and break structure a bit earlier. Or you could use this M5 break of structure here, possibly get that pullback a bit earlier. So I would be vigilant for that. We'll see what price does around this area, because this is obviously a lot further away in price. If price breaks down before there, it may not look as good to get involved. I do like getting in the trade nice and early. We get that sweep, it breaks a structure really quickly, get that pullback, and then we can target it, right? We can target that low. Usually that'll be a good profit margin already, but either way, whether it's on the M15 or M5, I'd want it to look like this. That's all for today. I hope I haven't repeated myself too much and you got value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.